Good morning. Welcome. Day 301. If you're brand new here, welcome to the channel. Welcome to a course in miracles every day at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on the Valerie Love YouTube channel at ValerieLoveTV.com, the Christian Witches YouTube channel at ChristianWitchesTV.com, and the Reverend Valerie Love Facebook fan page and Clubhouse. Clubhouse. Oh, Clubhouse. Clubhouse hangs with us every morning. That's where the hot discussion takes place after the live stream. We used to have the live stream and Clubhouse together, and it wasn't the ideal experience for viewing on YouTube. Even though YouTube is made for long form video, maybe not necessarily for 5 or 6 hours. I mean, we're not on for 5 or 6 hours every morning. Yet we have gone 5 or 6 hours in our discussion. So, yay, let's breathe. As we open to Source, the All, the Nothingness, and everything all at once, the I Am. We hold deep appreciation for life, for our own life, for what we are here for what we get to do, for who we get to serve, all the faces of God that are before us. Look around in the circle. See all the amazing, incredible, amazing beings you are in this circle with. We've chosen every morning to come together to light up ourselves and to light up the world. Breathing, always breathing deeply this day, throughout the day, and every day. Relax. A relaxed, clear, peaceful mind can always access its guidance. And now we engage A Course in Miracles lesson 301. Yes, family. Yes. I think we enter a new section today. What is the second coming? Pardon me. Christ's second coming, which is as sure as God, is merely the correction of mistakes and the return of sanity. It's not Christ coming in a cloud, coming down here, visibly present to everyone, taking up the people that he loves, leaving everybody left behind, and he's gone with the people he loves, or whatever version of the story you received. It is a part of the condition that restores the never lost and reestablishes what is forever and forever true. It is the invitation to God's word to take illusion's place the willingness to let forgiveness rest upon all things without exception and without reserve. That's a lot. So, what is Christ coming? The second coming of Christ is as sure as God. It is the correction of mistakes and the return of sanity. It is a part of the condition that restores the never lost, all of us, and reestablishes what is forever and forever true. It is the invitation to God's word to take illusion's place, and it's the willingness to let forgiveness rest upon all things without exception and without reserve. Very different from what we may have thought the second coming is from religion. It is the all inclusive nature of Christ's second coming that permits it to embrace the world and hold you safe within its gentle advent, which, pardon me, encompasses all living things with you. Soak in this. Soak it in. Christ's second coming encompasses all living things. There is no end to the release the second coming brings, as God's creation must be limitless. Forgiveness lights the second coming's way, because it shines on everything as one, and thus is recognized, and thus is oneness recognized at last. Forgiveness allows us, enables us to recognize oneness, wholeness, forgiveness. Without exception and without reserve, the second coming ends the lessons that the Holy Spirit teaches, making way for the last judgment, in which learning ends in one last summary that will extend beyond itself and reaches up to God. The second coming is the time in which all minds are given to the hands of Christ to be returned to spirit in the name of true creation and the will of God. We can see that according to this languaging, the second coming is a state, not an event. The second coming is the one event in time which time itself cannot affect. In addition to being an event, it is a state. For everyone who ever came to die, or yet will come, or who is present now, is equally released from what he made. In this equality is Christ restored as one identity, in which the sons of God acknowledge that they are all one. And God the Father smiles upon his Son, his one creation, and his only joy. So this second coming is the event in time which time itself cannot affect. So when I say it's not an event in the way we were fed in the church establishment, that it's going to be, a day when you'll visibly see Christ in the sky. We are being restored to sanity. We are being restored to perfection, sinlessness, and our holiness, our absolute holy state that is the truth. We are being restored to the remembrance of our true identity. And that when we are in oneness, there is joy. Pray that the second coming will be soon, but do not rest with that. It needs your eyes and ears and hands and feet. It needs your voice. And most of all, it needs your willingness Let us rejoice that we can do God's will and join together in its holy light. Behold, the Son of God is one in us, and we can reach our Father's love through him. Let us pray that the second coming is soon, yet that's not all we're to do. Well, I just pray and give it to God. We are to also, in addition to pray, as they say, they have a saying in Kenya, in the motherland, pray and move your feet. That's what they would. I heard them say that. Pray and move your feet, right? And so don't just sit there. Don't just pray and sit. We pray and move your feet. We don't rest with simply the prayer. It needs our eyes, our ears, our hands, our feet. It needs our voice. It needs us to activate our energies, our intention, ourselves along with it. It needs our willingness. Are we willing? This morning in my meditation, I was being with how I'm seeing now that this morning in my meditation, the question that I have before Spirit is really a willingness question. I'm willing, Spirit. I am willing. Now, for our lesson for today, 301. We're going straight up Revelation, and God Himself shall wipe away all tears. Revelation 21, 3 and 4. Gosh, did we state that scripture every other day in the Jehovah's Witness paradigm? Revelation 21, 3 and 4. God will wipe out every tear. Oh my goodness. Here is the prayer. Father, unless I judge, I cannot weep. Ooh. That means before every tear is a judgment. And love cannot judge, nor can I suffer pain or feel I am abandoned or unneeded in the world. I cannot suffer pain. I cannot be abandoned or even feel abandoned, and I cannot be unneeded in the world. These are impossible. Yet, if I judge, that's where I'll go. Well, I don't want to weep. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be abandoned, and I don't want to be unneeded. This is my home because I judge it not, and therefore it is only what you will. I judge not what happens. We have heard this many times from the Course. Yes, we have heard love cannot judge. It literally does not have the capacity to judge. We have also heard from the Course, let all things be exactly as they are. We also heard from the Course, I don't know what anything is for. I do not know what anything is for. We also heard from the Course, I'm never upset for the reason I think. So when we reflect on these statements, what do they mean? We meditate and reflect on these statements. And what do they mean? It means that at any given time, when I'm looking at something and ascertaining it with my five senses, I'm forming a perception. It is highly likely, as a matter of fact, it's probably 100% likely that the perception I am forming is false. Therefore, I am willing, yes, to throw out my perceptions, clear the decks and say, okay, I don't know what anything is for. What am I looking at, Spirit? I don't know what I'm looking at. This is my home because I judge it not, and therefore it is only what you will. Therefore, with our judgments cast aside, here's a judgment. Your kid is sick. Oh my God, this is terrible. No, it's not. This is a judgment. We don't know what it is. We do know a happy outcome to all things is sure. We do know that your kid is a supernatural being. We do know that you're a supernatural being. And we do know that the universe always has a divine plan unfolding, even when it looks suspect, strange, terrifying. What we're looking at is our own judgment. And if we can clear the judgment, oh, this is terrible. No, that's a judgment. We don't know what it is. If we can clear the judgment, we can deepen into deepen into truth and seeing only the will of God, not some big person in the sky. That's not what we talk about when we talk about God. Let me today behold it uncondemned. Let me behold the world uncondemned. Let me remove all my judgments that I placed on everything and everyone. We just go around with our judgments like peanut butter, smearing it on everything and everyone, smearing judgments on Trump, smearing judgments on Biden, smearing judgments on Dr. Fauci, smearing judgments on the snake bite or don't take the snake bite, smearing judgments on wear a mask or don't wear a mask. In 2020 and 2021, wow, a lot of judgments were speared all over the place. It's a really interesting world we live in. We've never seen this kind of world before. And I love that this world is ascending and we're grappling with issues. We're grappling with things that we've never grappled with before. Let me see your world instead of mine. Let me see the world that is created by the will of God and not the world that I made up in my mind from faulty perceptions. I am projecting my faulty perceptions all over the world. I'm projecting my judgments that this is bad and this is not good and they shouldn't do that and that shouldn't be like that. These people shouldn't say that and those people shouldn't have done that. And I shouldn't have done that, because if we're judging, we're certain that we're judging ourselves. If we're judging anyone or anything, drop all the judgments, drop all the judgments, drop all the judgments. We don't know if anything is good or bad. We really don't. Everything, without exception, that I've declared in my life that was bad, terrible, oh, this is terrible. I started crying when I got the news. I started, oh, turned out to be for my good. It made me faster, stronger, better, wiser, more God. It made me have to tap into realms beyond the physical. When people you love cross over, you must tap into spirit realms, because that's the only way you're going to talk to them, because they drop their body. Let me see your world instead of mine. Spirit, let me see your world instead of mine. And all the tears I shed will be forgotten, for their source is gone. My judgments are the source of all my tears, not what is happening. Wow, I didn't get that for a long time. I thought that when you see something supposedly that the mind makes up is bad, you automatically have to go into tears. No, you don't. No, 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 no. You do not. The judgments are the source of our tears and our suffering and our pain and our abandonment and our believing we're unneeded, unworthy, undeserved. It is a judgment. We have judged ourselves. This is what we are forgiving. We forgive the judgments. Oh, I got some news about my kid. And right away I was like, oh my God, okay. I forgive myself for judging this situation as really bad. I forgive myself for judging myself as unworthy to be able to handle emotions. I forgive myself for jumping to conclusions. I forgive myself for the judgment that this is just the worst thing that ever happened to our family. Let me see your world instead of mine. What if I cleared all that? What if I cleared it all, became still, and saw the real world instead of the unreal world? And all the tears I shed will be forgotten, for their source is gone. Father, I will not judge your world today. Judgments are the issue here. Judgments based on faulty information, projections from the mind, misinformation, mistaken perceptions that simply require correction. Father, I will not judge your world today. I'm not judging anyone. I'm not judging black people or white people or straight people or gay people or trans people or kids or politicians or people that are central bankers. I love to judge central bankers because I love Bitcoin. And when I hear people like Janet Yellen, and oh my God, it makes my butt crack itch. So when that's because I'm in judgment. And I see my judgments very clearly while I'm judging somebody, which means I'm judging myself, and let me forgive it. Please, I forgive all, I forgive all, I forgive all. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Who am I saying it to? I'm saying it to the all because that's what we are. We are the all. And simply begin clearing the judgments, clearing the judgments. This is a bad neighborhood. Well, who said that? Who said this is a bad neighborhood? That's my judgment. That's my perception. Couldn't I just as easily see God in everything? And then I wouldn't know if I was in a good or a bad neighborhood. And you may say, this is what the ego says. Oh my God, you won't be safe. And what does the true self say? I am in danger nowhere in the world. Christ walked everywhere. Buddha walked everywhere. Mother Teresa walked everywhere. Gandhi walked everywhere. I am in danger nowhere in the world. God's world is happy. Oh my God. Put it in the chat. Talk, say it, say it. God's world is happy. God's world is happy. God's world is happy. Look at the birds. God's world is happy. Look at the birds. When I sit and have my breakfast, usually I'm sitting outside somewhere in a lovely, lovely, lovely place here in Mexico where I live and where I have a home base. I live all over. I'm a global citizen. I have one of my home bases is in this beautiful home in Mexico. And I sit outside, and day before yesterday, I sat outside and I had a cinnamon bun, and it was lovely. Oh my God, it was so lovely. And it was ginormous, way bigger than anything. I would say that this same cinnamon bun, cut it in four pieces and put it in Miami and charge four times the price. And that's what you get in Miami. So this cinnamon bun, I think this cinnamon bun was something like, I don't know, $1.75, not more than two something, dollar something for this. I mean, a ginormous cinnamon bun like that, right? So the cinnamon bun is sitting on my plate. And I'm eating parts of it. And here comes a bee. Now, I love when bees and ants come for my food because that tells me I'm eating real food. Because if the ants don't come for your food, it's a fake apple. They have a lot of fake apples in the stores now. The ants won't even touch it. The ants will walk up to the apple and just go somewhere else because they don't recognize GMO, factory produced. None of nature recognizes frankenfoods. I call those frankenfoods that are created in a laboratory. The first bee came, and at first, it wanted my cinnamon bun. And I was like, bee, bye. I'm not finished with this cinnamon bun yet. So I'm eating the cinnamon bun. And the bee, just looking at the bee, I felt happy. Looking up at the trees, happy. Looking at my latte in this beautiful china, happy. Looking at the book I was reading, I'm working through 365 days of hoodoo, happy. Like looking at my journal and my pens, happy. What's not to be happy about? Okay, so the first bee came, and and the second bee. So I kind of had two, and I was like, no, this is mine. And when I finished with it, I said, bees, y'all can have this cinnamon bun. So I slid, because I could not eat that whole cinnamon. I slid the cinnamon bun, the plate, to the other side of the table and watched that first. The bees weren't after me. They knew where they were going. And I watched the first bee come and then the second bee come and was happy. The bees were doing what the bees do, and I got to watch the bees, and you know why they say busy as a bee, and you know why they can fly sideways. They can hover. And you see these tiny, tiny, tiny wings that cannot support their weight. And this big bumblebee body, and they're like, bzzz. Like, this is fascinating. And if all these creatures were gone, we'd be dead. I just sat there. I was happy. Right now, sitting here with you, I'm happy. God's world is a happy world. Being in Greece, looking at the water, I'm happy. Being in the pyramid, oh my God, it was hot and I was still happy. I was hot and claustrophobic and still happy. Like, I'm in the Great Pyramid of Giza. What? This thing was built by people that are not even on this planet. What? It was built by star people as some kind of chambers for multi-purpose chambers. They say that Hermes Trismegistus had chambers in the bottom where he would drop a body and he would transfer the consciousness from one body to the next body. And that's how he got to live for like, I don't know, 1,000 years, something like that. God's world is happy. Anytime I am not happy, I must ask myself, what am I seeing? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? And am I willing to change? God's world is happy. God's world is happy. God's world is happy. Which world would you rather see? Those who look on it can only add their joy to it and bless it as a cause of further joy in them. You can only add your joy to a cinnamon bun that is delectable, that costs next to nothing, that you enjoy with the bees. You can only add your joy to that. Now, if cinnamon bun is not your thing, you don't eat sugar, all good. Whatever your avocado, which I had that day too, lovely. Your blueberries and raspberries, which I had that day too, lovely. Add your joy to it. See, those who look on God's happy world are bringing joy. They are joy transporters, and that they are joy emanators, and that they are joy bringers. Because when you come to a happy world, what do you do other than bring your joy to this happy world? Oh my God. Those who look on it, God's world, not the world of this is wrong, that's wrong, there's something going around that's going to get all of us. Oh my God, you need to get some protection. Oh, this is very bad. This is terrible. Oh, the doomsday. I sat still and wrote these books. Do you know what I did? When the whole world was doing that, I sat still and wrote, where's confession? Where's how to be a Christian witch? Over there. I sat down and wrote all these books while the world was going nuts. Spirit was like, okay, right, because no one will be calling you. You don't have to go anywhere or see anyone. I was like, okay. Bam. God's world is happy. Now, we were taught and conditioned to accept some level of unhappiness. You know, life sucks. Life's not fair. You get sick, then you're going to die. That's the old paradigm that no longer suits you. Death is not real. We're all going to change. Everyone. Yay. When I was in Egypt, it became very clear that all that the Egyptians were on one accord with this. We call them the Egyptians, the people of the Black Land, Kemet and Cush. It is very clear that they knew that death, what looked like death on the third dimension, was a portal to a greater life. They were very clear on this. They were very clear that the dropping of this avatar is a portal, it's a gateway event. Now you're crossing the veil. And they even had food in there. Do you know that many people know about the canopic jars where they keep the organs of people whom were mummified in Egypt? We know about the canopic jars. There would be 4 canopic jars. They call them the sons of Horus. And because they had different heads on top of each of the four, right? Four sons of Horus. Well, these canopic jars, of course, they held some of the internal organs, never the heart. You needed your heart to go before Ma'at and 42 judges and Osiris, the ruler of the underworld. And of course, they took your brain out. They salted you real good. The whole thing took over 70 days. Do you know that inside of the tomb, they would place a set of, it looked like little miniature figures. I have pictures of it. Little miniature figures, tiny, tiny, tiny figures, usually 28 of them. They looked like little humans. They were magically activated so that if you had work to do over there, you could send these, it's like your team, you could send them to go do the work for you. Like they thought of everything. They had food in there, they had everything in there. They had all the jewels. King Tut's tomb, beyond belief, how much jewelry they had in there. I mean, King Tut was going to be changing his clothes. He was going to be changing his jewelry. One person couldn't wear this much jewelry in a lifetime. That's what was in his tomb. You can go see it. When we go to Egypt, you'll see it. People are just packed into King Tut display, just walking like this. Like, what? We have never seen. And you can hear a pin drop in the King Tut. We're just amazed. We've never seen anything like this before. And we have, yeah, put mama's ring on her because she wanted to be buried with this ring. I has not seen, it has not heard. King Tut's tomb is so mind blowing that his life on the other side, it is clear that they viewed it as a portal to his next life, and they gave him everything he required for his life over there. We wept because we did not understand. Wow. We wept because we did not understand. Wow. Breathe on that one. We didn't understand. We didn't understand what was going on. And before we could get understanding, we judged it as bad. In an instant, the ego is quick. The lower mind is quick to jump up and call something bad or good, or this person that, or that person that, or da 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 da. We wept because we did not understand. And it's all good because we can understand. But we have learned the world we saw was false. This whole third dimension, everyone is telling us it's false. The spiritual people are telling us it's false. The religion is saying you're going to go somewhere else that's going to be your ultimate destination when you leave here. The quantum physicists say none of this is real. It's all just, it's an illusion. We wept because we did not understand. We were living in a great big matrix. Once you get the game, oh, this isn't real. 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 I'm in the construct. Okay. Well, what's beyond the construct? That was my first question. Well, what's beyond this? Is there something beyond this? Well, that's actually where life really is, beyond the construct. Whoa, endless dimensions. Whoa. We wept because we did not understand. But we have learned the world we saw was false. And we will look upon God's world today. You know what? I can choose the world I see. The Course says you can choose your seeing. You can choose what you see. Choose to see only a happy world. This is not Pollyanna. No, I'm only going to be happy. I'm only going to see happy. That's trash because the people who are saying it don't believe it. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is coming to the truth. And the truth is, this is all made up and that we're free. We're free beings. We're free of the construct. We've chosen to enter the construct for a little while, learn some lessons, and then everyone's going to exit the construct eventually. Yay! Well, you're not going to be here forever. And while you're here, make it lovely. Don't be a nihilist. Don't say, "Oh, it's all going to end. It's all nothing. It's worth nothing. It means nothing. It's well, then there's no." I remember when my son, who's a great philosopher and an artist, he's an Enneagram 4 through and through, and I remember when he was deep into one of his psychological experiments with the universe. He asked the universe a lot of deep questions, and he's always talking about these really deep things. He came out like that. He's always been like that. The brooder who's thinking of, sort of in their own world and sort of thinking of life, and they're the artist. And on some level, they're kind of tortured a little bit, yet they're not, right? And I remember when he went into his nihilism phase, and that was the only phase where I was concerned. I didn't want him to stay there. Now, I don't have the right to say where he should be or shouldn't be. He can be wherever he wants to be. It's his path. I was the one that was afraid. And why was I afraid? Because I knew that nihilism is so empty and unfulfilling that I had hoped that that wasn't the conclusion he came to about the world. And just like me, I passed through a nihilism phase as well. And just like me, because when you start to open your eyes and understand that this is a construct knowledge, you're like, well, what is it for? The whole thing, what's it for? And you sit down and you're like, well, it's meaningless. That's true. It doesn't mean anything. Now, the ego or the lower mind would take you down with that thought. This doesn't mean anything, then that means you would go down. What we're saying here is that it doesn't mean anything, you go up. If you go down, it's nihilism. If you go up, it's ascension. We have learned the world we saw was false, and we will look upon God's world today. We will look upon God's world today, and God Himself shall wipe away all tears. This is Revelation 21, 3 and 4. If you've never read Revelation 21, pardon me, let's pull it up on the screen. I'm not a robot, Google. I wouldn't even use this browser if it wasn't the thing that the StreamYard needs to use. All right. NIV? No, I don't think so. It's not the Bible I want to read. Okay, just look at this. Oh, where am I? Let's go to Amplified. And let's go to read full chapter. Revelation 21, 3 and 4, a new heaven and a new earth, and I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and He will dwell with them. Does that sound like the Course of Miracles? God's dwelling place is among us. They will be His people, and God Himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the order of things has passed, for the old order of things has passed away. It's exactly the same as what the Course said this morning. Now, this is a revelation of John, and this is John while he was in prison on the Isle of Patmos. And as a matter of fact, it's in the Greek Isles. We probably could go to that island maybe when we're there. I don't know. I'll look it up. John wrote the Revelation according to what they tell us. Many times the author that they told us wrote a book in the Bible was not the actual author, yet there was a habit or a practice in antiquity that if you ascribed your writing to someone who was very famous and powerful, then they would accept the writing. That's why you're not really sure who wrote these things until you go and dig deeper. Well, supposedly, according to the story, John wrote this while he was in prison on the Isle of Patmos. Now, the Revelation. that Jesus came to him and told him all these things. And it's kind of sounds like the Course. Now, this sounds exactly like the Course. So, in thousands of years, the message didn't change. So, what am I saying? Am I saying the whole book of Revelation is the absolute word of God and of Christ? No. No, I'm not saying that. I don't even really know the answer to that question, to tell you the honest truth, because I don't understand the book of Revelation. I get snippets of it here and there. The rest of it looks like a great ayahuasca trip or either a shrooms trip. It looks like a trip. That's what Revelation looks like to me. And it is a vision, and he's seeing all these things. And this looks like he was munching on some things that were on the island. Okay? And he tapped in some dimensions and some worlds. And I don't know if his trip really has anything to do with you, other than the snippets of light that we get here and there in Revelation that you can really use and apply to your life. And people over the years have kept trying to tell you that they know what Revelation means. If anyone tells me they know what Revelation means, I just leave the conversation immediately because I know they're lying to me. I don't think anyone on the planet knows what Revelation means. All of it? Okay, I'm out. So, in the church, when they try to tackle Revelation and they take a snippet here and a snippet there and try to tell you what it means, oh my God, just go to the bathroom on that part of church. Just say, I'll be right back. You don't want to be disrespectful and unkind. Go in the bathroom, sit on the toilet for a while, have a meditation, pull up the Course in Miracles while you're sitting there on the toilet, because no one will bother you and no one will talk to you, hopefully, while you're in the stall, right? You just put the lid down and sit there and then go look, scroll through A Course in Miracles while you're there in church until they pass that part, because no. So this gleam of light, so when you read Revelation, you can get gleams, you can catch glimpses of light coming through. It tells you something is there deeper. Here we have a glimpse of light straight out of Revelation that is exact same as A Course in Miracles. Exact same. Now the lady who is the scribe for A Course in Miracles, Helen Schuchman, she didn't read Revelation. And I'm so happy that Christ chose a person like Helen Schuchman to be the scribe for A Course in Miracles. She didn't write A Course in Miracles. She is the scribe for A Course in Miracles. She began to hear a voice after they were given an ultimatum that they needed to get themselves together because they kept arguing in the English department at Columbia University. I believe it was Columbia University. They kept arguing, couldn't get along, didn't know why. They weren't happy, they weren't peaceful. And they were told, listen, we have to find another way to do this. And they all agreed, we have to find another way. As soon as she said that, here come a voice. I'm hearing a voice. And her partner, who helped her with the ACIM, said, well, write it down. And she started writing what she was hearing, and that is A Course in Miracles. What? I'm so glad God gave Helen Schuchman that job and not me. We still might not have the course. At least she sat down and wrote the whole thing. She sat down and wrote the whole thing. And I promise you, the lessons are not even the crux of the course. The crux of the course is the text. We haven't even touched the text yet. Revelation. I think Revelation is sort of similar to like an acid trip. That's the conclusion I've come to. After I did ayahuasca, I was like, oh, now I see what was happening in Revelation. Because who's going to just sit there and see all these things? I don't know. It could just be my skeptical mind. I'm an Enneagram 7, wing 6, and sometimes I go to wing 8. Wing 6 is the skeptic. You kind of have to give the skeptic some real hard evidence. We're in the head triad, 5, 6, and 7. So, you got to get things past our head, and we just don't really, super logical. To our downfall, because sometimes we need to go more to emotions and feelings and honor those more, like the 2, 3, and 4. No. And the 8, 9, and 1, they're in the body triad, right? So, Magus, how are you? Love you. Brazil. Oh, Magus, I'm so happy you're here. Love you. I think I'm in that nihilism phase right now. Yep. The Black Treasure Chest. Nihilism, I intuit, is an important aspect of the journey. It's where you just go down into a deep black pit. And I find that people, this is when I went into nihilism, and this is when my son went into nihilism. When you find out that things are not as they told you, nothing is as they told us. Not your body, not health, not your mental health, not your emotions, not things in your world, not other people. Nothing is as they told us. That's when people tend to just go plunge. When they get a glimpse beyond the veil and they see it's not what they told you. Nothing is what they told you. It just isn't. And then for a time, we get a little angry, agitated. I'm going to read you a line out of the Gnostic Bible. The Gnostic Bible, it's in my sacred space. The Gnostic Bible says this, that if you keep seeking, you will find. Yet when you find, you will be disturbed. Then after you're disturbed, you will become a master of the world, right? Isn't it the Black Treasure Chest? Nothing is. And I believe 2020 and 2021 accelerated that for people, and people started to see that nothing is as it seems. The people that you trusted and believed in and thought they really had your good interests at heart, you see, they didn't. They lied. They all lied. And I don't say that they lied. I say that they did what they thought they had to do in that moment. And it's on us to find the truth. Christ said, Yeshua said, this is in the Gnostic Bible, and it's in the Holy Bible as well as we have it, the 66 books. Yeshua said, seeking you shall find, knock and the door will be open to you. You have to keep knocking. What about so and so and so? And then you go into the stillness and answers begin to come to you. Oh, revelations. You begin to see things differently. You begin to be different. And then you see, oh, this whole thing is a construct. And then you're happy because you're freed from the construct and you can go beyond the construct and look at it. Right now, you can lift your awareness above your body and look down at your body and see it. How are you able to do that? Because you're not in the construct. The real you is not in the construct. I used to have this meditation that helped me, and maybe this would be helpful to the Black Treasure Chest. I used to have a meditation, and the meditation was for me to send my consciousness to a tree as I was walking down the street, and from the tree, look at myself walking down. It's an amazing exercise. Do it. Throw your consciousness like to the lamp, and then from the lamp, look at you. It helps you understand you're not a body, because how can you throw your consciousness outside of your body and look at your body? How can you do that? If you say, take your consciousness to moon right now, you just went to the moon and your body is still sitting here. How did you do that? If you say, take your consciousness to Grand Canyon, you're hovering over the Grand Canyon right now, you're looking at the Grand Canyon. How are you able to look at the Grand Canyon right now and your body is here? You can do that with places that you've never seen before. You've never been to the moon before. Well, maybe you have. Maybe you're an astronaut watching this. I've never been to the moon before, yet I can take my consciousness to the moon. You can take your consciousness anywhere you want, because ultimately you are infinite consciousness. I am not a body. Mind blowing, isn't it? Yes, it is. Now, family, we got an announcement coming up. We'll probably make the announcement tomorrow morning. We have an announcement coming up tomorrow morning. We'll make the announcement tomorrow morning about soul excursions and about how you can make 6 figures traveling with us next year to these 5 locations with 5 friends. We're going to teach you exactly how to do that. We have a big announcement coming up tomorrow, and you will love it. 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 Okay? Soul Whisperer, that's one reason that wherever you go, you take yourself with you, your whole self. Isn't that the truth? Yes, indeed. Lynn, how you loving today? Not happy when the bee stings you. They love fragrant perfumes we wear too. You lovely female rose. Oh, thanks, Treasure Chest. On most days I don't wear perfume. I own perfume. I used to be a big perfume gal. Halston was my all-time favorite perfume back when I was like 18, 19, 20. Halston, I couldn't live without Halston. That, bottle with the little tan color top. I couldn't live without Halston. And I used to be a big perfume girl. As a matter of fact, Halston was my signature fragrance. It got into my skin. That's how much I love Halston. All my clothes smelled like Halston. If you walked into my room, it smelled straight up like Halston. Like I went through my Halston phase where that was it. Like psh, psh. I wasn't done until I psh, psh. Now I pretty much wear essential oils, even though I'm not saying anything about Halston. Halston is wonderful. I love it. I love all the perfumes. I have a perfume or two. I'm just not big into perfumes like I used to be. Yet Tom Ford makes a good case for perfume. I mean, Tom Ford is on it. Anything Tom Ford now that will make you very happy. Halston, Chloe, Opium. Oh my God, do you remember that phase? Chloe. So Whisperer, we're right there because we came from the same generation. We had like a whole lot of similar experiences. Really interesting. And just bought Byredo. Oh, that's nice. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah, I love oils. I love my oils. As a matter of fact, I use oils in my home. I don't use any chemicals or anything like that in my home. We always use the kind of like method, Mrs. Myers, Green Day kind of stuff, all that stuff that doesn't have all the in it. We just use things that smell good and uplift you and don't choke you to death. And so when I have critters in my house, because the critters, I'm going to tell you something. I live in the Yucatan. Tom Ford, have to check that out. Byredo, that's a new one to me too. Me too. I'm going to check it out. I live in the Yucatan. Well, one of my homes is in the Yucatan. If you do not put a border of nature, Mother Nature will gobble this house in 10 minutes. I came back to my house, and of course, they take care of my house while I'm gone. They come in, they check on it, all of that. Davey is an amazing manager, right? He takes care of everything. So he got the pool together, he got this together, he got all that together before I came back. I'm going to tell you something. The trees will be, the vines, the plants. I have wild basil growing downstairs, straight up pure wild basil growing up through the tile outside by the pool. You look at my service entrance right now, it looks like Jurassic Park. I'm telling you, we live in the Yucatan. This is a jungle. So you will see all manner of critters. You will see all manner of flying things, creeping things, all of it. And I pretty much manage all of them with intention and magic because you have to be on it with these critters because these ants are they're next level. Go into the Merida, Brothers and Sisters of Merida Facebook group. There are literally pictures in there of critters that we have seen that we've never seen before. Like, what is, and we'll be in there like, okay, these ants are on something else. What are these ants doing? Okay. Oh, Marisol Tom Ford is lovely, lovely. Yeah, right now I'm in Merida. And that's where my home is. My home is in Merida. And so I have to tell you something about Merida, and I'm going to make a video about this. Here's how you know God's world is a happy world. This ties into exactly what we're talking about. Well, let me finish that piece. So all of the bugs, I don't call them bugs, all of the helpers, I manage them all with essential oils now and fragrance. So the mosquitoes, I manage them with citronella. The bugs, the creepy crawly ones, I manage them with like peppermint oils and things that are hot and spicy like that. I just smeared some peppermint oil on some place where I saw they were trying to come in. And the ants, you can manage them with cinnamon. They will run from cinnamon, even the powdered cinnamon. You don't need the essential oil. I'm a witch. I just got all kinds of concoctions and potions. That's what I use. I use stuff straight from nature to handle nature, and it works. I gotta tell you something. I'm going to make a video about this. Merida. This is something I saw on Sunday, as I was just landed in Merida. Merida is like my decompressed place, right? After I've been to all these places all over the world, and I come here, I'm just like, ah. Well, walking around on Sunday, I saw Black men happy and unmolested. That's what the Black men look like in Merida. They look happy, they look relaxed, they look unmolested. Yeah, I just look at the Black men. I'll sit in a cafe because we're always outside, right? I'll just sit in the cafe because you get more sun and all that. It's just good for you, fresh air and everything. In America, everything is so sealed off. You go into a restaurant, it's completely sealed. Not one bug can come in here. Nothing from the outside. Close the door. You come in, close the door. Like they make these hermetically sealed places that there's no nature. What's happening? Here we it's like Bali. Merida is like Bali. The indoor and the outdoor kind of meld. Part of my house is outside. It's in the front and the back. And Bali is like that too. When you go into houses in Bali, part of the house is indoor, part of the house is outdoor. It's integrated with nature. We're not trying to silo off nature. Now that's not all of America. That's just like the big cities, right? You see, we sit outside a lot, is what I'm saying, and the weather is always, you know, Merida has two temperatures, hot and hell. So hey, it's hot all the time, and I freaking love it. It's like the perfect temperature for me. I couldn't do Mexico City; it was a little too cold in the morning, and I couldn't do Guadalajara. I'm like 50s jacket. Let me get to Merida. Couldn't wait to get back to Merida. Merida is just hot. That's what I like. Well, when you look at the Black men in Merida, they are so happy. They are with their families or their partners. They're walking down the street free. They look relaxed. They look blissful. I've never seen Black men that look like this. Black men in the United States, yeah, you better be on it. They're more watchful. They're more like, and not all Black men, and not all Black men are in any danger. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the energy is different. Wow. The energy is different, and it is very palpable. Merida is a serene, tranquil place. Even when you fly into Merida, yeah, my friend couldn't take the Merida heat. Whoo, it'll roast you because the sun is like right on you. It'll roast you. I tell you, it's perfect for me. So everyone's got to find their own spot. I have to tell you, it is easy for me to see God's world is happy when I'm in Merida. Some places it's easy to see God's world is happy because it's just a paradise. Like I'm just walking down Paseo de Montejo and it is a paradise. Just trees, pardon me, is so inspiring. Old growth trees, like just old growth trees everywhere. Like it feels like a hug from nature. It just feels so good. That's my jam, but everybody's got to find their own jam, right? Whatever your jam is, find it. I love you. We will see you tomorrow for day 302. Congratulations on 302 days straight, 301 days straight of A Course in Miracles, of our 365-day marathon. Share, like, comment, and we freaking love it because we're happy. I know that's right. Mwah! Peace. Kais out. Valerie Love.